Hey Chan, and maybe even Chaska. My name is Mr. Block, and I'm one of the physics teachers at Chan. I'm doing this video just real quick to demonstrate what we normally would do in class when we get a problem set. So you'll be seeing this video in GoFormative, and this is what GoFormative looks like behind here for you. One of the things that you want to do is you want to notice that these little blue dots, these are placed here on purpose. So dot number 1 and dot number 2 relate to problem number 1. And dot number 1 means that this is the question right here. So what we're going to do for this speed problem is that to make it better for you guys is that we're going to ask you to first answer the question with a number. Okay, and so that's the first problem. It will be answer the problem with the number. And then the second part of the problem will be to give the units. And we'll do that by multiple choice so that you guys can choose which units. We want to remember that units are important in physics, and so your teachers will consistently remind you to use your units, and in the testing it will make it worthwhile to you. It will be worth points to get your units into the answers. Okay, so real quick we're going to do problem 1 in the method that we've been teaching in the classes. So here, let's hold on and let me get the camera up. All right, so the doc cam's up right now, and I just want to demonstrate problem number 1 to you. So the problem says, what is the average speed of a car that traveled 300 miles in 5.5 hours? So remember that we're practicing. Most of you guys can get this problem right at the top of your head, but we're practicing the 4-column method for the future. It's going to be worthwhile to you guys. So we're going to do the 4-column method. And remember, in the 4-column method, the first column is simply grabbing everything out of the problem that you can from the words. And so we can see here, they say, what is the average speed? That's what they're asking us to find. So we'll put velocity equals question mark. And they said of a car that traveled 300 miles. So we know that that's a distance of 300.0 miles. And then they gave us a time of 5.5 hours. Okay. So once we do that, we know that when we can then just look down at the variables that we've got, and we have variables v, d, and t. And so we can look at our yellow sheet or our reference sheet and say, okay, that's the velocity equation. And so the second column, we just simply write down v equals d divided by t. And there's our second column. And then our substitution column, or our third column, well, they're asking for velocity, so we'll leave that v there. They give us 300.0 for the distance, and they give us 5.5 hours for the time. All right. Once we got that, there's no algebra to do here. And so now it's just a matter of grabbing our calculator and putting that in. So 300 divided by 5.5 gives us 54.54 repeating. And so what you'll see in the GoFormative is they're going to ask you to round the answer to the nearest hundredth. And so that would be v equals 54.5, and since the 4 has a 5 next to it, we're going to round that up, 0.55 miles per hour. Okay, and now you'll go to GoFormative, and you'll put in for the answer, you'll put in right here 54.55, and then you can see what are the units for problem 1, and you'll have to pick miles per hour. Okay, keep going with that. Know that when you get to the second set, we always increase the difficulty as the problems get further along. And so when you run into problems 6 and 7, know that we're challenging you. I'm confident that everyone can get 6 if they sit down and think through it. 7, there is a trick to it. Make sure you think about it. For my classes, remember, if you don't understand using the 4-column method, the next step in the process is always to draw yourself a picture. What's happening in the problem? And so in this one, you're going to see that drawing a picture might help you figure out why you might get a different answer that's wrong. All right, good luck to you guys all, and
We'll see you Thursday, Friday.